Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Lot of ingredients on the table, but a very simple preparation. We're going to do a curried chickpea. Um, I do have my notes to make sure I get it in the right order, and I've laid everything out in the correct order that I'm going to use it in. Uh, that's one of the things I never really talk about, but I think it's fairly important. When doing a dish like this with lots of ingredients, to do your mise en place. Lay everything out. Lay it out in the order that you're going to use it. I think it's also very important that if you are someone who doesn't cook all that much and you get a little trepidatious about being in the kitchen, and it's this is something that holds you back, measuring everything out ahead of time. A few more dishes. Obviously, I do a lot of dishes. Few more dishes, but you could combine these spices onto one little plate and do it all at once. But if you lay everything out and you're not looking for things in your kitchen and you've got it ready to go when you start cooking, it becomes so much easier to go through. You're not getting to a point in the recipe and then looking and going, oh, I've got to find the turmeric. Where is the turmeric? It's all right here on the counter ready to go. So this curry chickpea dish starts out, I put a little bit of neutral oil in this pan, and I've got it heated up. Use an oil or a fat that you like, but something neutral for this works really well. There's some cumin and some coriander, and I just want to bloom that. I don't want to cook it too long. I don't want it to burn. There, I can smell it now, and I think we're good. So in goes some onion and some hot green chili pepper. And I want to just fry those onions until they start to get some color. Be very careful with them. You don't want them to burn. As soon as they get too dark, they get bitter. Not good. Next up, that'll do. Next up, I've got some garlic, and I'm going to crush that in. You could, of course, chop it up if you want. Mince it. You could, run it through or over a microplane. For the garlic and the hot pepper, it's to taste. Really is to taste. You could make this dish super hot if that's what pleases you, or you can put in just one. I used the little green hot chilies. You could use just one to sort of bring a depth of flavor, bring some background flavor without making it too hot. Now, next in is some ginger, and I'm going to grate that. And definitely an option for the ginger is that bottle of already mashed ginger paste. So a bit of thumb's worth of ginger. That's going to be enough because I'm bored of grating it in there. Next ingredient is optional. Completely optional because I realize that for a lot of people this might be something that you can't get your hands on. This bag is filled with something called curry leaf. Let's see, can I get a... what a mess. Okay, so... this is curry leaf. It's a branch from a tree, and they're falling everywhere. If you live in Toronto, I bought this at Blue Sky, but you can also find it at Iqbal's. Definitely the Iqbal's in Thorncliffe Park and the Iqbal's in Ajax both carry it pretty much all the time. Blue Sky always has it. And so it's called curry leaf in English, spelled the same as curry or curry paste or curry powder. Like most words in English, the English roll up, they're taking over a country, and they roll up and they say, what's that? And the indigenous people say in their own language, that's curry. And what the English here is curry. So they call it curry leaf. But my understanding is in the original Tamil, Curry didn't refer to it as what we think of as a curry, but it was more about the color. The word that they were using was about the color of the leaf. I don't really know for sure if that's the case, if that's true, but that's kind of what it looks like. And I'm going to strip that many leaves and put them into the pot. Which of course now leaves me with this giant branch of curry leaves. And what I'll do is I'll hang this up in the basement and let it dry. And then I will take the dried leaves and put them in a container. And I will just use the dry leaves. And in a recipe like this, with the dry leaves, just kind of crush them up between my hands and put them in. In that case, I would use a few more than what I used fresh. So I'm just going to set this aside and clean up the mess I've made. Okay, now to our pot, we're going to get into the major spicing. Simple black pepper. This is a curry powder masala mix, salt, ground coriander seed, cinnamon, and turmeric. And we'll give that a bit of a stir. And pretty much immediately in goes a couple of chopped up tomatoes. Smells incredible. So you cook this until the tomatoes break down. They break down pretty quickly. Those were hothouse tomatoes. It is late March while I'm cooking this. So I used hothouse tomatoes. Hothouse tomatoes aren't as good as field fresh tomatoes. Purists, cover your ears. For the rest of us, I would say use a can of tomatoes. If you really had to use a can of tomatoes, they're probably better flavor than a hothouse tomato. They're probably a better flavor than a field tomato brought from the other side of the world as well. I would use canned tomatoes for sure. Next in, chickpeas. I'm using canned chickpeas, drained, rinsed, of course. So in they go. This is tahini. In goes the tahini. I like what the tahini brings to this dish. I really do. Might not be a traditional ingredient, but it works for me. Now you need about 2 cups of liquid. Could be plain water. Could be vegetable stock. You could use chicken stock. Chicken stock is quite nice with this, but if you want to keep it veg or vegan, just use water or vegetable stock. There is a component of coconut milk that goes in here. Now, I'm not a fan of coconut at all. You put coconut in baking and I will not eat it. I can't stand dried, shredded coconut in baking. Don't like it at all. In this preparation, though, coconut milk works really well. So what I've got in this cup is 1 cup of coconut milk mixed with 1 cup of water. So I've got a total of 2 cups of liquid. And so in goes that liquid. And we stir that together. Okay, so I've got this now on a low simmer. I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to let that go for about an hour. In about an hour, it would be ready to serve. I'm probably going to leave it on the stovetop for 2.5 or 3 hours before Julie gets home from work. Just let all of those flavors come together. I'm going to have a lid on, and every once in a while, I'll kind of look at it and see what the texture's like. This is one of those things where you could have it fairly thin, liquidy, or you could thicken it up. And if you want to thicken it up, just kind of lift the lid off a little bit and let some of the steam escape. Really, that's up to you. So I will see you back here for a tasting. And I guess I'll deal with these curry leaves in the meantime. Okay, Julie just pulled in the driveway. So the last ingredient, garam masala, I'm going to stir this in the last 15 minutes of cooking.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, friends. I can tell by the smell why you asked me to pick up some flatbread on the way home.
So, we're mixing today. That's Afghani.
Yeah, it's just flatbread.
Just Afghani flatbread.
But the bakery that,
It's
It
fresh.
was on the way. It was there. Oh, it smelled so good in the car. I'm amazed there was any left. Oh, it has some
Excellent.
bread with wine. Bum, bum, bum. I'm not very good at ripping bread.
That's really good.
I totally just scoop mine out with some bread. Ooh. Nice job, Glen.
Okay, so you can make this as hot as you want by adding extra chili peppers. The thing about Indian food, or Indian style food, is that it's not all that hot. Most of what we're exposed to here in North America seems to lean towards the really hot side. But when you travel through India, there's lots of places where the flavors are really rich, but it's not all about the heat. And hot peppers didn't arrive in India until the Portuguese brought them in like the 1600s or something. I'm not sure the date, but it was long after the Spanish took them from here to Europe, and then they ended up in India.
That's really good. I had a snack on this all day. Nice job, Glen.
So it is a bit of a,
Does take a bit of work. Oh,
yeah, there's a lot of ingredients. Lay them all out. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. And maybe this is something that you don't do on a weeknight after work. This really is something that you do on a day off where you've got some time to relax and to deal with it. And that will be better tomorrow and the day after.
that's always the amazing part, right?
For lunch. For lunch, it'll be absolutely
yeah.
fantastic. Okay, so we're going to finish this up. This is a chicken tikka masala.
Oh, it's going to be great together.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon. You're still here. Since you're still here, let me tell you about Give Hope Wings. Last year, 2023, I flew in a charity fundraiser called Give Hope Wings that raises money for a charitable organization called Hope Air. And you, my viewers, donated $27,000 and really changed some lives, made a difference. You made a difference in people's lives. So Hope Air is a charity that works in Canada, and they provide free flights and lodging to people that live in the more remote parts of Canada if they need to get to somewhere like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, something like that, a larger urban center, in order to receive some sort of care, cancer treatment, different types of operations, that sort of thing, that can't be done in their own community. The healthcare is covered by the Government of Canada. It is free. It's part of our universal healthcare. But getting yourself to that healthcare can be an incredible burden for people who live in those more remote communities where driving isn't practical or driving isn't possible, because we have a lot of communities in Canada that are fly in or boat in only. So that's where Hope Air comes in. They pair private pilots like myself with small aircraft to fly to these communities, pick people up, and bring them either directly to the larger urban center or to a larger urban center where commercial traffic is available. Commercial flights are available. And then from there, they cover the commercial flight to the larger center. Something that I definitely believe in. Having lived in some of those smaller communities in my younger years, I know how difficult it is, how isolating it is, and that you cannot get out when you need to sometimes. So I would encourage you, please, if you can, I will drop the link below in the description box. Take a look into Hope Air, and if you're able to, please help out and donate. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.